Let's take a closer look at two of the two treasures in the National Firearms Museum collection. This beautiful pair of factory engraved presentation third model Colt Dragoon revolvers. The Colt Dragoon is a big 44 caliber revolver. It's a 6-shot. Approximately 10,500 of the third model were manufactured from 1851 to 1861. But to understand the exact role that this firearms has in Colt history and in American firearms history, you have to take a look at a couple of the earlier models that Colt introduced. Colt's first product was a small folding trigger revolver that's called today the Colt Paterson. It looks very unusual by modern standards, but it was revolutionary in its time in that it was really one of the very first effective repeating firearms. However, this little gun was not very commercially successful. It was only in production for a couple years, and the company did not thrive and succeed. However, around 1846, Captain Walker of the Texas Rangers came to Sam Colt and asked him about producing a larger, heavier revolver for use on the American frontier. The result was the famous Colt Walker revolver, a big, heavy 44 caliber revolver and the most powerful repeating handgun in the world at the time of its introduction, and indeed the most powerful handgun up until the introduction of the .357 Magnum in the 1930s. However, there were still a couple problems with the Colt Walker revolver, one of which was that this long cylinder held so much gunpowder that the cylinder metallurgy was not always up to the stress, and you will find a number of these with exploded cylinders from too much pressure within the chamber when the revolver was fired. Colt modified the design and came up with the Dragoon Revolver. This was again a big 44 caliber, but as you can see, the cylinder length was shortened, the barrel length was shortened, and this big Walker that weighed over 4.5 pounds lost about a half pound of weight in going to the lighter, somewhat lighter and handier Dragoon model. It was still a holster pistol, more of a horse pistol that would be carried in saddle holsters and on the hip, but a powerful and effective revolver that proved eminently successful and really launched the Colt company firmly in its success in firearms manufacture. Collectors recognize three models of the Colt Dragoon. The first model has round cylinder stop notches and a square back trigger guard. The second model has rectangular cylinder notches, still with the square back trigger guard. And then third models such as this has the rounded trigger guard. The gallery behind us shows the California Gold Rush General Store from the late 1840s, early 1850s, and this was certainly the revolver to have in the Gold Rush era. These were so popular out west that you could buy one of these for $20 in the east and head west to try your fortunes, and if you didn't strike gold in California, you could sell this on the west coast for $200, showing what kind of demand they were in that era. Now that would have been for a plain Dragoon revolver. This pair is far from plain. These two revolvers are profusely engraved by master engraver Gustav Jung, probably one of the two best engravers of the mid-19th century, Gustav Jung and L.D. Nemschke. It shows very full foliate scroll engraving coverage, and it's inhabited with some fanciful creatures. You'll find a wolf's head or a dog's head in the scroll engraving. All of this was done with hammer and chisel by hand. And when you're working with a chisel on steel, there's no way to erase your mistakes. So the engraving of this era, when it's well done, is truly a masterwork of art. As with all Colt revolvers, plain or fancy from this era, this one has the rolled factory seam, which was standard on Colt revolvers. On the Dragoon model, it features a mounted Texas Ranger battle with Indians. Sam Colt was also a master at marketing, and he's well known for presenting elaborately engraved, inscribed pieces for special presentations as a way to promote his product. On the back of one is inscribed "Prize Shot of Company C, Mounted Rifleman, USA." On the back of the other is inscribed "George Hess." This company was Sam Walker's own unit, so it adds a specially historically significant touch to this beautiful pair of engraved Colt Dragoon revolvers.